Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin is trending upwards, according to his family, as he continues recovering from an on-field cardiac arrest. Big Fox's Josh Feldberg spoke with a medical professional about the injury.
Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin is listed in critical condition after suffering a cardiac arrest on Monday night's game. It was a Monday night that I will never forget, as I was in the stands at Paycor Stadium. These pictures and videos were taken by myself and friends who were at the game as the drama on the field unfolded. Earlier today, Big Fox spoke with Guthrie cardiac electrophysiologist Dr. Pramod Deshmukh about what happened to Hamlin.
In this particular situation, it appears that there was a trauma to the chest in the area of the heart.
According to Dr. Deshmukh, around 200 athletes suffer cardiac arrests each year while playing sports. Hamlin was on the field receiving CPR for around 10 minutes. According to medical professionals, the hit may have caused ventricular fibrillation, which led to the cardiac arrest.
It can trigger rhythm problems if it happens in a particular cycle of the heart. And this results in a very rapid heartbeat and can be fatal unless person is resuscitated within few minutes.
An incident like the one on Monday night has only happened one other time in the NFL, back in 1971 when Chuck Hughes suffered a fatal heart attack on the field.
Yeah, as one could say, this is a bad luck. It's multiple, possibly he has genetic predisposition. I don't have the details, but it is a bad luck that it happened in a particular time of the cardiac cycle and he had an arrest.
The most recent update from the Buffalo Bills media team is that Damar remains in the ICU in critical condition. Signs of improvement have been noted yesterday and overnight. He is expected to remain under intensive care as his health team continues to monitor and treat him. Josh Feldberg, Big Fox News.
An Owego woman arrested for stabbing a man in the chest. 58-year-old Veronica Kelly was placed under arrest by the Owego Police Department after they say she stabbed a man in the chest and abdomen. The victim is an unidentified 58-year-old man and was brought to the Wilson Trauma Center. His current condition is unknown. Kelly taken to Tioga County Jail. The Elmira Heights Police Department has sworn in the first female officer in department history. 20-year-old Haley Fierro is an Elmira Heights native who will now give back to her hometown. Fierro was sworn in by Margaret Smith, who made history of her own in 2010 by becoming the first woman elected mayor of Elmira Heights. Southwest Airlines is trying to make amends after its horrific holiday meltdown, as it faces a lawsuit from a passenger who wasn't given a refund. Grady Trimble has more.
Southwest Airlines trying to correct their wrongs by giving out 25,000 frequent flyer points to customers impacted by the holiday chaos. Travelers receiving the bonus miles offer in an apology letter from CEO Bob Jordan. Jordan writing, quote, "I know that no amount of apologies can undo your experience." Southwest telling Fox Business the bonus points are in addition to customers' reimbursements and refunds on flights and incidental expenses related to their recent travel disruptions. Southwest travelers reported long waits after clicking a link to add the points to their frequent flyer accounts.
Not in my years of being a travel advisor, I've never seen this ever.
Meanwhile, Southwest is being sued by a passenger who says it failed to provide refunds to stranded customers. The person filing the suit says all they offered him for his frustration was credit for him and his daughter after scrapping their flight and being unable to book them alternative travel. The White House also saying Southwest, quote, failed its customers point blank, and that the Transportation Department is watching closely.
I like to see them working on the same rules, but more transparency. More transparency is what I like to see.
Southwest has yet to announce how many passengers were affected by the 16,000 flight cancellations. In Chicago, Grady Trimble, Fox Business.
With no winner in Tuesday night's Mega Millions drawing, the jackpot increasing to nearly $1 billion. No one matched all 6 winning numbers in Tuesday's drawing, and now the jackpot is up to $940 million. Since the game began in 2002, there have only been 3 other jackpots larger than Friday's prize. The largest jackpot in history, $1.57 billion, claimed by one winner in 2018. The next Mega Millions drawing will be Friday evening. The man accused of committing a mass shooting on a New York City subway train pleads guilty to federal charges. Frank James pleaded guilty in federal court in Brooklyn to 10 counts of committing a terrorist attack on a mass transit system. The shooting happened April 12th of last year during a morning rush. James does not have a plea agreement and faces up to life in prison on each of the counts. A sentencing date has not been scheduled. The rise in violent crime across the country is putting an even bigger burden on hospitals, particularly when it comes to staffing issues. Lydia Hugh has more on how hospitals are trying to combat this problem.
A violence prevention program here at the Jacobi Medical Center in the Bronx, New York, is cutting down on injuries from violent crime. Every person who's a victim of violent crime here is seen by a social worker who helps mediate the conflict that brought them to the hospital. A social worker also follows up with them after they're discharged, and the hospital says the program is effective. It has reduced gunshot wounds by 59% in areas they serve compared to areas that they do not, and decreased the rate of re-injury in patients also by 59%. Still, the hospital says it's seeing 120% more victims of violent crime in 2021 and 22 than it did in the 2 years before.
It's really been a little bit overwhelming. And I think it is tough on the day-to-day. That has a lasting effect on physicians in the emergency room, on the inpatient service, and in the ICUs.
Hospitals across the country are overwhelmed. In Aurora, Colorado, where murders, aggravated assaults, and robberies are at an all-time high, frontline workers at UC Health say they are seeing a, quote, noticeable and alarming increase in violent crime-related injuries. In Seattle, Washington, shooting deaths increased by 23% last year, and the trauma center at Harborview Medical Center expects to see its busiest year this year in the last 12. Officials are noting the strain on their hospital staff as the nursing shortage in the country is projected to reach between 200 and 450,000 within the next 2 years. Some now say that repairing the healthcare system goes hand in hand with addressing growing violence. Reporting from the Bronx, New York, Lydia Hu, Fox Business.
2023 marks the addition of a new item on the FDA's major food allergens list. Food manufacturers must now list sesame whenever it's used, rather than just as a whole ingredient. The move is expected to provide major help for the 1.6 million people in America with life-threatening sesame allergies. This, according to Food Allergy Research and Education. The FDA warns unlabeled sesame could still be out there, despite the new designation. Your midweek forecast is coming up next. Plus,
it's dog food reimagined. I'm Jackie Ibanez with a look at the restaurant changing the way man feeds man's best friend. Coming up.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
After receiving upwards of about a half an inch of rainfall throughout our Tuesday and then bringing in another round of some of that showery weather today, we are generally looking at that half an inch to an inch of rainfall across the region. And now we're going to head into some drier weather. We'll see that with the moisture that is in place, though, and us sitting within this warmer pocket, we will have some fog potential. So do make sure that you have your headlights on if you do encounter some of that reduced visibility, but don't use those high beams. It makes it more difficult to see. But even through the overnight, we see temperatures fall, but it's still very, very mild. We have temperatures going from the 50s to those lower 40s. Not much of a drop there, as we are going to be within this warmer pocket as we step into our Thursday forecast. Now, we'll start off with the day with those temperatures within the 40s, with most of that precipitation on its way out. We do note that we should be into the teens this time of the year, so a very mild air mass in place, and we'll see that throughout our day on Thursday might even bring in some sunshine to make it a nice day. We see starting the day with some of that cloud cover as that system continues to push its way out of New York off towards the east. But with some of that afternoon sunshine, could see temperatures top off into those 50s again. So a very mild day setting up, but it is going to be that warm pocket, that break in the weather pattern before we'll see another round of some potential isolated precipitation move its way in. So rolling through the forecast, again, for the most part, much of the region does stay on the quiet side. That warm front is now shifting its way north. Now that low is working its way across the Great Lakes, and that is going to bring some mixed precipitation. With how warm the temperatures are at the surface, it is looking to be mainly wintry mix, but look at the arrival time. It is arriving just around Friday at 7 a.m. So if temperatures are cool enough, depending on how fast that cooler air moves in, there is a chance to maybe talk about some light snowfall accumulation. Now, it will mainly only be in some of those cold, grassy spots as we've had such warm temperatures lately. And as we look at the snowfall potential, it's looking pretty minimal. A few isolated areas bringing upwards of those few tenths of an inch. If anything, it's looking to be mainly a wintry mix to even rainfall, where we'll see maybe upwards of a few hundredths of an inch, getting to a tenth of an inch possible. So pretty light system overall. It's going to start to be moisture starved, as the system has been causing for some really significant storms across more of the central plains and off towards the west. So once it reaches us, it's really going to start to show some of its falling apart. Now, we will know that as we have these mild temperatures around on Thursday into Friday, we'll start the cooling as that system shifts through. So as mentioned, with its earlier arrival, there is the potential temperatures are close to that freezing mark. So can't rule out wintry mix, but I don't think we'll be cold enough to see that snowfall accumulation create widespread travel concerns. Little slick at times, can't rule that out. But then we'll head into Friday afternoon with those conditions starting to work their way out, and then we will talk about still hanging out of the 40s before it will be a little cooler but seasonal, with some returning sunshine through the weekend, and then staying mild as we head into next week.
Southwest looking to improve its reputation after their recent meltdown. Home prices falling in November, and the Mega Millions jackpot continues to rise. CJ Papa has those stories and more in today's Fox Business Briefs.
Southwest Airlines offering bonus frequent flyer miles to customers impacted by their recent meltdown. The airline carrier trying to repair their reputation after recent widespread cancellations and continued lost baggage issues. CEO Bob Jordan saying the offer is worth around $300 and is a, quote, gesture of goodwill. This offer is in addition to customers' reimbursement and refunds on flights and other expenses related to their travel disruptions. Home prices declining sharply in November as rising mortgage rates continue to drain demand on the housing market. Prices are now around 2.5% below the spring 2022 peak, and they're expected to continue to drop this year. Meanwhile, mortgage rates inching higher in recent weeks. The average for a 30-year fixed rate just under 6.5%. That's double the rate just 1 year ago. Sales of Damar Hamlin's jersey soaring after the Bills safety collapsed on the field during Monday night's game, suffering cardiac arrest. The executive chairman of Fanatics announcing that all proceeds of Hamlin's jersey on their website will be donated to his foundation, which has raised more than $6 million as of Wednesday morning. With no winner in Tuesday night's drawing, the Mega Millions jackpot climbing to nearly $1 billion. No ticket match all 6 winning numbers in Tuesday night's drawing, increasing the total jackpot to $940 million. The next drawing will be Friday night. That's business. I'm CJ Papa.
As more migrants make their way to the U.S., states are looking for places to shelter them due to facilities becoming overcrowded. Authorities in Chicago say they will house them in empty schools. Casey Cronis has more.
The first group of migrants that will be sheltered at the former elementary school could be moving in as soon as Friday. These are asylum seekers that were bused to Chicago from the Texas border. Now, it's unclear exactly how many will be moving into that CPS building and for how long. At a former Woodlawn elementary school, classrooms are empty and an outdoor playground is still. But soon the building will be home to migrants seeking a fresh start.
The community gets to decide what happens to the school. Our tax dollars have paid for it.
Located at 64th and University Avenue, 20th Ward Alderwoman Jeanette Taylor says she was blindsided when she learned the city might be sheltering upwards of 300 asylum seekers in the old Wadsworth Elementary School, and tells us she was not consulted on the plan, nor was she able to talk with residents about their feelings before a decision was made.
And so the thought that the city of Chicago, Mayor Lori Lightfoot and this administration would carry out a plan to spend $1.5 million on a school that was closed without having a conversation with the elected official. She needs to remember, I'm elected just like she is.
We requested a statement from Mayor Lori Lightfoot and received this from a city official, stating in part, former schools like Wadsworth work well for this operation because the ample space provides flexibility. It also confirms the city has conducted repairs and updates to provide a safe and welcoming environment for the new arrivals. Taylor says she is not against migrants being housed throughout the city, but feels there are local housing issues that should be addressed first.
My heart goes out to them, but we're going to put them in more trauma if we drop them off in the middle of a community that's already under-resourced.
Still ahead, we take you to a restaurant that is especially for dogs. Stay with us. World famous and startup tech companies alike are getting ready for the Consumer Electronics Show this week. Here's more from Las Vegas on the preparations for the event.
CES 2023 will begin on Thursday morning. Take a look at what the hallway looks like right now here at the Las Vegas Visitor and Convention Center. It's still under construction.
We have over 3,200 exhibitors, and of that, 1,000 of them are brand new.
And each exhibitor has their specific needs, and that's why the exhibit hall is filled with crews putting everything together. This is not a small job.
We have over 2 million net square feet of show space, and we are taking over Vegas.
Tina Anthony is a CES spokesperson. She says this year there's a lot of technology to showcase, including the auto industry.
We are one of the largest global auto shows. We have 300 exhibitors. We have Volkswagen, BMW, Mercedes.
Trying to describe a highlight of the show is difficult because there's nothing on the exhibit floor yet. But one interesting area that is bound to be popular will be Eureka Park,
where all the startups are, and you're going to have startups from all over the world, from Israel, Ukraine, France, South Korea. It's really a great place to see trends emerge.
One of the other popular exhibits will likely be wearable.
I do know there's going to be a lot of focus on digital health. I think that's something you're really going to see there. The startups tend to also focus in the wearable space.
The show begins Thursday morning and will wrap up on Saturday. More than 100,000 people are expected to attend CES 2023.
The TSA releases its list of top catches found in luggage in 2022, and hidden guns and drugs topped that list. The list includes fentanyl pills stuffed in candy wrappers, which were confiscated at the Los Angeles International Airport. The TSA also found unassembled guns in peanut butter and a raw chicken. Odd items such as electric cattle prods in a guitar case and soiled money and a pair of crutches were also found. The TSA reminds travelers to check its website for information on what passengers are allowed to fly with. Now listen to this. This restaurant is literally for the dogs. Jackie Ibanez takes a look at one family-owned business's unique approach to helping Fido stay healthy.
The food here may look delicious, but it's off limits to people.
Speak.
Instead of catering to men, staff at Breadwell, an Illinois-based restaurant outside Chicago, are cooking up specially designed meals to keep man's best friend happy and healthy.
One of the biggest problems in the pet industry with dogs is over 50% are overweight. And it's because the consumer loves their dog but doesn't know exactly how much to feed.
Customers answer questions about their dog's lifestyle and health before working with staff to build perfectly portioned meals to meet their dog's individual needs.
We make sure that our dogs get everything that they need, all their 23 vitamins and minerals every day, but then there's something extra for them.
The food consists of enriched kibble with added proteins like beef, chicken, pork, and salmon. Meals also get garnished with fresh fruits and vegetables to keep dogs excited and engaged about their feeding time.
They deserve a great meal just like we do. It reinforces the fact that people treat their animals like family.
The American Kennel Club can also help you determine the ideal weight for your dog based on its age and breed. Besides limiting treats and table scraps, AKC officials recommend making sure your dog gets enough exercise to keep its weight under control. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
We'll be right back. And we want to leave you with a smile. Super fans of the show Friends can finally feel they're drinking coffee with a well-known Group of Six. International Delight has come out with a Manhattan hazelnut mocha creamer inspired by the show. The flavor influenced by an actual drink sold at the character's go-to hangout spot, Central Perk. The bottle will only be sold in stores for a limited time for $4. I'm Harriet Wallace. That's all for tonight, folks. Thanks for watching.